Tony Robbins and Alex Hormozi just did an interview, and it's all the rage right now. And everyone's talking about a lot of different things about it. And on this video, I want to share you my perspective after studying both of these guys for years, if not decades, and give you my breakdown of what actually happened on this interview and why it's completely different than what everyone else is talking about. What's up, guys? My name is Nico, a Rapicalist, and I actually did a part one of this interview because I thought it was really important. But when I sat on it for a little bit longer and I started having more conversations with people about it, there's something actually much bigger going on here that I wanted to discuss here on this video. So just a quick recap, if you have not had a chance to go watch the interview, one, I would highly recommend you do that. Okay, I'm a big proponent of learning, right? Having to get information and also keeping an open mind. The quote that comes to me as I watch this video in this interview is that it's a mark of the educated mind to accept or to take in information and not accept it as truth. And so really what that's saying is removing the ego, because what I noticed, and I thought it was pretty fascinating, I've never seen this from Alex Hormozi before, because he's always the one that has the quote unquote frame, as I like to talk about. He's always the one that's kind of in charge, the one that's leading, and this was completely flipped. And I was pretty surprised at that, because as I've studied Alex for years, I mean, I've probably consumed 10 or probably at least 5,000 hours of his content, aggressively. That's just how I work. I love to listen to content. I speed it up. I listen to it all day, every day. I go hard when I go study people because I want to learn from them and treat it like I paid 10 grand for it, as opposed to it being free content. That's just how I approach it. Same thing for Tony Robbins. I've studied him extensively. I first got introduced to him when I was a landscaper, just popped in the headphones, listening to his audiobooks every day. And then I've gone to his event, or I've gone to one of his events that he was speaking at. So I immerse myself in these, and that's the osmosis, and that's what helps out so much. And so I would, again, coming back to the fact that I just say go listen to the interview. I mean, this is going to be great for you to get a synopsis and my perspective on it, but I highly recommend that you go do it. And so what I found fascinating with this interview is that Alex dropped his ego, completely, and he just said, hey, I have an opportunity to learn from the great that has some different perspective than me, and I'm going to learn, as opposed to just making this this flashy interview. Because here's the deal. You'll recognize something as you start looking at things in a little bit different light. But there's one reason why Tony Robbins even agreed to doing this, is because he was promoting his event, right? His virtual event. It was a 3-day event that was shortly after this, and that's the reason that he got on Alex's podcast. Otherwise, he wouldn't have done it. So it's just interesting to see that kind of stuff. So there was obviously a big promotional material around this, but Alex didn't just do this flashy hey, yeah, talk, and then all of a sudden, boom, hey, Tony, or everyone go check out the interview, right? Or check out the event, right? He could have done that, and honestly, who knows? It could have been to the point where if he did that, they probably would have got more exposure to the event. Who knows? Obviously, it got million+ views in a very short period of time. But what I found fascinating, as opposed to going for the quote unquote result, Alex decided to drop his ego, get some new perspective, and learn from Tony. And therefore, he started getting into the fact that he's I'm not really fulfilled. I've been constantly saying screw happiness, and I'm not happy. Well, Tony's well, no, duh. Because our words are everything. Our words create our emotions create our reality, right? Our emotions create our habits, our behaviors, and then that creates our reality, right? So that's what I was really impressed with Alex on this video. But as I've been having more conversations around this topic, is that this is a much bigger thing than Alex just dropping his ego a little bit or taking on some more information. Here's the thing, is that's what's going on. I've been saying this for years. And I coined this term. I mean, I heard it from somewhere else at some point, but then I just started talking about it. And people seem to be pretty gravitated towards it. But I call it the woo and the do. Okay? And we could say woo and do. We could say heaven and earth. We could say yin and yang. We could say masculine and feminine. The reality is that in this world we're living in, is that there is a spiritual component, and then there's the earthly component. right? It's the things that we cannot see, and it's the things that we can see. And so what's interesting is that largely, us as humans, it's crazy times right now. Like, there's no doubt about it that it's absolutely bananas. I think ever since COVID, things shifted drastically, and there's just like a new earth evolving, right? Can you agree? Let me know down in the comments if you feel that is the case. So I have a lot of conversations. I mean, I even tracked it. Last month, I had over 40 connection calls where I just got on calls and was connecting with people. And, a lot of it like has the potential to turn into business. It's not just me like having good conversations, but these are all like really quality people, right? I'm just very fortunate, and people that are very tapped in spiritually, but also like dialed in business people. And so I say all that because largely the marketplace for the last, I would say like 20, 30 years, like the last 2 to 3 decades, has been largely like stuck in the do mentality, right? It's all about do. It's all about results. It's all about actions. It's all about how much money you made. It's all about like these earthly things, right? The relationships you have, the money, the cars, the everything. And there's nothing wrong with that by any means. And I live in an abundant world, and I'm going to continue to create more abundance in my life. That's the beauty of life, right? However, when it comes at the cost of the woo side, that's when it becomes a bit of an issue. If you want more of a harmonious life. If you're an entrepreneur and you've just been go, you can understand how exhaustive that is. If it's just all about the money, it's all about the cars, it's all about the results, it's all about the do, it's all the do side. You know how exhaustive that can get. I can speak to this because I'm very passionate about this topic because of the fact that was my path, and then I swung all the way back. So I was working with a marketing agency, did a lot of marketing. Probably for like 10 years, somewhere around there. Affiliate marketing, had my own agencies, worked with other agencies, Instagram growth, YouTube ads, like ran millions of dollars for some of the biggest brands on this planet. And there was one particular company I was working with, household name. I was in their team meetings, and they were constantly talking about these type of things of like mindset, personal development, subconscious, future self, like all these things that now I've turned into a company. But I asked myself, I was like, if this stuff is so important, it's a $100 million company talking about this. I was like, why is it not more like accessible? Why is it not more like talked about? Right? And it is talked about, but it's like also there's like no system for it. And so that was the light bulb that went off, and I was like, we're all entrepreneurs. Like, why isn't someone created this? And I'm a big proponent of like, if someone's not doing something, then go do it. I learned that from baseball. One of my coaches was like, hey, if there's a bat that needs to be picked up, don't complain about it, just pick up the bat. So that really hit home for me. And so why I'm telling you all of this type of stuff is because of the fact that, when people are like tapped in on both sides, on the woo and the do, that's when life, I say it gets to be fun, but it's just like that's where life is harmonious. And so like I've been mentioning is that we have largely been in the do. It's all about results, and it's all about results, and it's all about results. $100 million offers, $100 million leads, $100 million money models, having a $100 million launch, right? It's all great. There's nothing wrong with it. And Alex has been the huge proponent of the do, because he's all about the do. And I've studied him, and I've learned from him immensely, like brilliant business mind. But I always kind of question, I was like, there's something a little off with him. Like, he doesn't seem like happy. He just seems like kind of like blah, if you will. And so when I saw him do this interview and ask these questions and drop his ego and just be like, hey, like, I'm not fulfilled. That's, what he said. It was a big shift, because here's what's happening on this new earth that's coming, is that everyone is recognizing this. Everyone is recognizing the fact that we can't just be fully in the do anymore. There's some type of spiritual thing going on, right? And I feel like without Alex being able to say that verbatim, it was in his own way. I'm not fulfilled. It was really him saying like, I need to swing back to the woo a little bit more. I need to have a little bit more harmony within my life rather than just like results. And the interesting thing about this, and why I'm really excited about this interview actually, and the impact that it's having and the seeds that it's planting in all the people, is because Alex has massive influence. Everybody's on social media these days, right? Everyone is glued to their phones. They've done it excessively well. Intensively, I shouldn't say excessively, and just they've done it so incredible. I even heard some stories. So I connected with a gal recently, and I think she has close to 1 million followers across all platforms. And then she's telling me this stuff about TikTok, and she's telling me this story about how this girl, she made $700,000 in one day. Cool, that's great, and very impressive. And most people are like, "Oh wow, that's so cool. How did she do that?" She told me how. She said that she went. I mean, it was a build up to get there, but what she did on that particular day, she went live for 23 hours in that day. And then like most people are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, show me how you do that." My response to that was like, "Holy shit." They've gotten so good at getting us glued to our phones so that we can just stay addicted to them. And I mean, I'll just be the first one to admit, like, I have had a lot of challenges, especially lately with my phone and my devices and scrolling for way too long. And I consider myself a pretty disciplined person, and I'm having a lot of challenges with it. And it's just crazy to think about this. Like, they're having people so glued to the phone, and when you're glued to your phone, you don't sleep as well, you have more fatigue, your energy drops, you're more easily manipulated, controlled, and that's what's going on in this world. And I did a podcast interview last week, and brilliant mind, highly recommend you go check that out. It was with Kevin Jacobson Jr. And basically it's turning us all into free employees. Like, the masses are free employees for these social media platforms. No matter how much money you're making with it or not, like, you are an employee for these companies and you don't even know it. And so, like, that's kind of scary. And it's interesting to see where this world is going to go with all this. However, this all comes back to the Hormozi interview, is that now that he has all this influence, he has all this exposure, especially to younger generations, I believe. And now the fact that he's opening up this way and realizing that it's not just all about the do. There's a component, I don't think he would ever say it's like woo. And he's even publicly said that he's not a proponent of God. But I believe that this was like the crack of the door, and it was opened. And now things have shifted. Things have changed. Seed planted, and the new earth is continuing to evolve. And when leaders like him, I noticed this when I started my podcast too. Like, I was not about this type of stuff at all. I was much more do, as I mentioned, but like something like cracked open in me, and I had to like swing back more to the woo side, and now I'm integrating both and having this like continued navigation of the woo and the do. Right? And so when I started speaking up about this, and I did I've done like hundreds of interviews at this point, and I started talking about this stuff, then other people started talking about this, and more people started talking about this. And now like Hormozi's talking about this, and what the ripple effects are going to happen from more and more people opening up about this stuff and being more centered in this harmonious wave of woo-do, masculine, feminine, heaven and earth, whatever you want to call it, right? This duality that it gets to be both, and we get to step into this new world and this new earth for a more harmonious living. And so just want to share that because I think it's really important. And this is much, much bigger than just a podcast interview promoting a 3-day virtual event to change your life, right? Tony Robbins, change your state type of deal. And it is absolutely imperative. Your energy is everything. And that's what he always talks about, is like your state is everything. And you can just recognize in Alex, he's just kind of like, he's a little bit more mundane. And he's like, yeah, forget happiness. And you could just see him on this interview where like they even gave him a name, which is a really powerful strategy of like anabolic Alex versus analytical Alex. So it was like do Alex or anabolic Alex, which is more, it's kind of, I don't want to say like woo, but Like, it's just like a more alive, happy, excited version. And I feel like that's what we're getting to. It's like those are components of the woo and the do that like we get to be like excited and amazing and alive human beings, as opposed to just like do. It's all about results. And this was just such a powerful moment, I think, in history, to be honest. And it's going to crack open a lot more people. People are going to start asking more questions that weren't going to do it anyways until they saw someone like Alex do it. So yeah, really passionate about this stuff, and I think it's a big moment. So let me know your thoughts. I'd love to hear your guys' perspective. Drop it down in the comments. And then last thing I just want to let you know is that like it is all about community. It is people wanting to get around other people that are having these type of conversations, and this is the type of conversation that we have a lot inside of our Skool community, the Vision Espresso Skool community. We do Friday calls. It's all about connection for entrepreneurs. So it's based on vision, not just like, hey, I need to meet someone so they can help me scale my business. Like, yes, that happens. We've connected people that have formed huge deals. But it's all based on like who you are, where you're going, what you're wanting to create, in addition to like your business. So it's a very holistic approach. We'd love to have you. Right now, it's a free Skool community. It will be paid in the future, but go ahead and join us now. And then inside of that community, we'll show you the Vision Espresso and stuff like that. You can also go take our vision quiz. That's 100% free for right now. That might be paid in the future as well, but that will help you get up to 108% more clear in less than 20 minutes. We have data as people have gone through that. We track everything. You get a score. It shows you how quickly you are updating your clarity. It's really powerful. So all those links are down in the video description. Appreciate you watching this video, and we'll see you on the next one.